especially at night and doing like homework, schoolwork. It's just more internet, usage right now, and it's really kind of bogging it down.
Yeah.
Kind of slowing it down the whole 9 yards. Now, normally we do a show, man, and it clips right along.
If you don't mind, could are we live now, or are we not up yet?
Are you up yet, Dustin?
Yeah, I'm in, and yeah, they can hear us because I got it on my phone right now.
Okay.
Sweet. There we go.
I'm trying to find the video again here. Hang on.
I got it. You can't see my. Can you guys see me by chance?
The only thing I see right now, video-wise, is the Learning to Fly, your latest, the F-16 video. I don't see the live stream.
Refresh it. Refresh.
Yeah, it's all good. We're good, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, can you guys hear me now? Or you guys start talking because they can hear me.
Hey.
Dustin, I don't see you on the camera on my end, but I see you on the phone. So.
Yeah, that's normal. I mean, that's just like how we always do it.
Gotcha.
I was trying to learn or do something different, and it wasn't working out. So that's what caused all this. So my apologies, guys. But thanks for tuning back in. Again, my apologies.
Hey, that's what the new guy is for. Just blame it. Just say, hey, this guy. That was the guy. He came in, we brought him on, and then everything went wrong after that.
That's it.
It's just easier that way.
It's all Chris's fault,
guys. So we're back, and hit us with some emojis. Let us know you can hear us good. And while you're at it, thumbs up the show. Give us a like while you're here on the way in. But as you guys know, we've got RC Demon Driver, Chris, and he is working on some awesome planes. He builds planes from scratch, does some great airliners. And my kids say they still, they're saying they still can't hear us, Dustin.
What?
Yeah.
We can't hear y'all.
He's saying they can't hear us, man. Look here.
We hear Dustin.
They said they can hear Dustin, but they can't hear us. I don't know.
But Dustin screams jumping around a lot.
You're glitching, Dustin.
What the hell? It doesn't make sense. We're back. Good evening. What's up, fellas?
Let me see if I can hear us on the thing here. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. It's coming through fine on the phone.
Yeah, mine too.
Okay, if people can hear Jeff, we're good to go.
Yeah, can y'all hear me? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you.
Yeah, they say they all hear us now. It looks fine
right.
On my side. It's working. You're all solid. Yeah, let's roll
Jeff,
with it.
I think your daughter was messing with you.
That's my
She's like, it's like, go in there and tell Dad they can't hear you, and tell him that there's like a big snake. Something weird is happening right now. There's some weird guy.
Really?
Talking to Jeff and Daniel, Dustin. What's going on here?
All right. So GB said he can hear us now. Everybody's saying they can hear us all three loud and clear, so that's good. Okay, so Chris, tell us how you got started in this awesome hobby, man.
All right. Third time's the charm, baby.
There you go.
I've been doing this as a business for 10 years, so it's legal, so I can pay taxes. I have an LLC. I've been doing that for 10 years here in South Carolina. I moved from the Northeast about 11 years ago, from around Philadelphia, and I just got done with that area part of the country. And I've been in the hobby since about 1983 when I was 9. My uncle was had his own electric guitar business where he scratch built electric guitars, and the other half of his life was aviation and scratch built an RC aircraft. Old school, all balsa, plywood, fiberglass, steel, aluminum, like old stuff. We're talking 60s, 70s technology, just, glow engine, gas engine, nothing electric, nothing. The only thing electric in those planes was servos.
Okay.
That's it. And my parents would dump me off as a kid with my grandparents in Long Island, right outside Kennedy International Airport, might I in Valley Stream, like literally 20 minutes from Kennedy. And as a kid, I grew up looking up, in the late 70s, early 80s, and always seeing, an airliner flying over. And so my mother was a stewardess. My father was in the Navy, and he was in naval aviation. So aviation's always been a part of my life. And it's just, I'm 45 right now, and I've been in the hobby on and off since I was 9. So we're talking 36 years. But
yeah, that's cool. So you've seen a lot of changes then, man.
Man, I mean, I remember, God Almighty, I remember the Airtronics radio I first ever flew an RC airplane with. It had the steam gauge voltage meter in the middle of it, just a steam gauge, like an old-fashioned, and that was the battery indicator. And it had a reverse buttons if you wanted to reverse a servo. So that was the only change you could make, and then you had your trim, and that was it. Man, that was it. And that was a radio back then. And before that, if you went 10 years before that, all you'd have
refresh
one stick.
Well, mine's doing good. Yeah.
So we got Jeff Jr.
We get an important report, and then you had your trim.
Everybody's doing good, man.
That was.
Look, the teacher
was that like, hey, Dad, tell that guy to shut up?
Well, yeah, what he was saying, man, he was saying that their stuff's not looking good. And I'm like, well, everybody else seems to be fine if you
They need to
refresh.
shut it down. Shut it down and restart it. That's always IT's first one. Wow, have you restarted it yet?
I mean, because everybody else seems to be doing good, right, guys? I mean, if you know.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just wing it,
Yeah. So
I got it on my phone. It seems to be rocking. So
yeah,
it's rocking.
Yeah. So basically, like I was saying earlier tonight when we were talking, I mean, I've been doing this for just 10 years, and I've seen things go from a foam apprentice as one of the first planes with no safe to planes like these with safe technology, and just the detail and the scale. But man, I mean, you're building this stuff from scratch, man. I mean, you're taking foam and fiberglass and you're building, I mean, these massive airplanes. I mean, how do you even know where to start, man? I mean, what gives you the inspiration?
Well, before you start, I'm just kind of we got some questions. Kenny, that's massive. Kenny asked, where did the name Demon Driver come from? Where did it originate? Did you just
it came from a Peruvian salt mine a long time ago. No, I'm just kidding.
I was about to say you just got drunk one night and then just some bad stuff happened.
One night, I saw a demon and I drove him out of me. Let me show you something. Right over here is probably my favorite fighter jet. I love fighter jets more than I do airliners, and that's the F-3H Demon. On the Intrepid in New York, they have an actual F-3H Demon, and as a kid, my grandfather, when the Intrepid first was brought into New York Harbor, right on the late 80s, late 80s, my grandfather, who was a captain of detectives in the New York Police Department, took me to the Intrepid as a kid, and I walked around with him, and I saw the Demon just sitting there, and I just said, man, it kind of looks like a Phantom. It looks like a F-86 and a Phantom got it on, and they had a baby, and that was and I just fell in love with the plane. It's so goofy looking. It's a weird looking airplane. It's a good looking plane. It kind of looks like the British Scimitar.
I was gonna say it kind of looks like maybe the A6, but maybe that's because of the color scheme that I got pulled up right now as well. But I mean, I can see the F-86 because it's got the sweat wings to it. It's not like a Delta wing, but yeah.
What the Navy was trying to do was right around the mid 50s to the late 50s, they wanted to stick a radar and be able to have a fighter jet that could be all weather and be able to carry the AIM-7 Sparrow and the AIM-9 Sidewinder. And that was the Demon. You had there was a plane. I forget. You got the Cutlass, and you had you had the Phantom that had a radar. But the Demon was supposed to be supersonic, it never really was. It could just get almost to Mach 1, but it couldn't. But it could carry 4 AIM-7 Sparrows. It had all-weather capability, and that was really one of the first Navy fighters that could do that. And they had plans to re-engine it and stick a more powerful engine in it to get it past Mach 1. And then there was an idea to turn it into the Advanced Demon. And if you ever seen that, it looks like a little mini Phantom with one pilot.
Huh.
And and then McDonnell Douglas said 2 powerful engines, a pilot, a weapons officer, no gun, real stupid. That was the biggest mistake the Navy ever made, was not putting a gun on the Phantom. But that's what they did. So the Phantom and the F-8 Crusader replaced the Demon. And then by 65, the Demon was out of the Navy. But about, 11 years ago, 12 years ago, maybe longer than that, I just had a really dopey night, and I said, I'm going to build a 6-foot Demon. And I just started building one, and it took me forever to build it, man. And it survived. It survived this girl that I was with in PA who went nuts and left me and destroyed about 30 RC airplanes of mine.
Oh, Lord.
She destroyed, and the Demon was the only plane that survived. And that's the only reason that girl is now living, is because that's the only reason, my friend. I did not take out the revenge against her. Is that she didn't touch? You know why she didn't get the Demon? Because it was in another storage space, hidden.
Oh, man.
She couldn't find it. So.
Wow, that's
but
good.
that's the long, winded story of how I just thought Demon Driver. That was the pilots were called Demon Drivers, and the technicians were called Demon Doctors. So.
Okay.
Demon Doctor, so Demon Driver. So.
Yeah.
Not to be mistaken with the 1980s video game.
Well, so I mean, like I was asking you a while ago, man. I mean, what inspires you? I mean, how do you know where to start with these builds? I mean, I've watched some of your stuff where you have these massive fuselages sitting out in the yard, and I mean, just how do you even know where to start?
My man cave, man. Up in my office. That's the I'll sit up there and I'll think of something, and I'll look at a photo or a video of something, and I'll say, man, I want a Caravel real bad. Or someone will contact me and say, listen, I want this and I can't find it, nobody makes it, or right. I need an engine to sell for a Wildcat from a kit that they don't make anymore. A lot of the work I do is just making replacement parts for kits and ARFs that are gone, that have been gone for a long time. And I'll get old plans and I'll find something. But a lot of it just starts with plans, a 3-view, a plane, an idea, and then I'll get the 3-view and then I blow it up to full-scale plans, and I draft it. I'm a draftsman, so I'll draft the plans out on the ground, because there ain't no table big enough to handle that. So I'll draft it out and then build the plane from that, and then scale it up and make it bigger.
So I mean, are a lot of your builds, are they foam and fiberglass, or do you use carbon fiber? I mean, what are your typical materials that you like to work with?
When I started to scratch build with foam about the mid-2000s, 2005, when I got back into building again, I was inspired by guys like Ali in Sweden. He built amazing RC scratch builder. His name is Ali, and he built an A340, and he used GWS Grand Wing Servo EDFs. And that guy, pioneer. That guy, Nefwafa, a couple other guys, and they were doing amazing stuff. And I mean, it was just amazing to watch them do what they were doing, and that's basically, that kind of inspired me about that time period to get into foam, and I stopped using mostly balsa and fiberglass, and I would even use aluminum rods. And then one day I discovered carbon fiber, and a friend of mine who was in the U.S. Army, he was at Ramstein. Right about 2006, came back, brought a bunch of Depron, all these different types of foam, and he was going to start scratch building planes outside Philadelphia. And he just never did it. So I wound up buying all his foam, and I took a GWS ME262.
Okay.
And I took that and I crashed it, obviously, because it was just a nightmare to fly. Took the EDFs out of that, scratch built a C-141 right around 2005, 2006. Put the stuff in that and flew it. So I really, started using foams and things like that right around the 2007-ish, 2006 time period. That's when I started. That's when I went from old school balsa and plywood and made the leap over to much lighter, styrofoam and blue foam, pink foam, Depron.
Okay, so is that like the foam that these planes are made out of? Like, what is it, EPO and things like that? Is that kind of the same type stuff?
Well, behind me right over here is an A310.
Okay.
Right? Now, the whole tail section is white styrofoam hollowed out. Right?
Okay.
Fuselage is a white styrofoam backbone and then white styrofoam fuselage cross sections and then covered with 2mm Depron shell. Now, one of the hardest things right now to find, man, and it's been this way for a couple of years, is Depron in large sheets is gone.
Huh.
It's gone. Unless you know some guy in Austria or Germany, and they've taken Depron, and now they're just
Explain what Depron is, Chris, to people that may not know or be familiar with.
I'm trying to look around to see if I have any just sitting around that I can grab. It's a type of, it's a certain type of foam. It's like a cell foam. Okay. A lot of people, CELL, it's a type of foam, and if you looked at it under a microscope, it's very fibrous, but it's very flexible, it's very light, and it's just a great foam. It's a wonderful foam. It's usually white, but it does come in different colors. You can get it in gray, black, but sadly, trying to find it in large sheets, and so, unless someone knows something different, tell me. If you know where to get big sheets of Depron, I'll hook you up, you hook me up, and I'm telling you, I have a supply, but yeah. I'll look around. I would take a special trip to Europe just to grab some, man.
Wow.
We got Robert. I can't pronounce his last name because I'm going to butcher it. But anyway, he says Canada has it.
Huh.
Well, you got it. All right. You got Electrifly has sheet foam. There's Electrifly. There's a couple companies that make it, but they make it in small amounts. And to find big sheets in 2mm and 3mm Depron, unless I'm looking in the wrong places, it's hard to find in big sheets. Usually when guys say we can get it, they have these small sheets. We're talking maybe 12 by 12 inches. And that you can find, but to find big stuff,
what are you talking about? Like the size of like a piece of plywood, like a 4x8?
Yeah, basically that size. Finding big sheets like back in the day, there used to be a company RC. There was a company RC Foam. It was in Atlanta, and I knew the guy, and I used to buy from him at least once a month. I mean, I put that guy's kids through college, man. I swear to God, that guy has man, every month it was like $300-400 of foam I would buy off that guy Depron, and then the supply ran out, and he told me, Chris, I don't know where to get it, and I'm like,
what?
You gotta find this. It's
his kids were out of college by then, so that's why he wasn't too.
He's like, I'm out of the business, man. I made my nut. I'm out.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some like little mom and pop hobby shops that might have.
Well, now look, Chris. Robert, he's sitting here saying they got 3mm, 5mm, and there's 4x8 sheets in Canada, man.
Where at? Drop a link.
Yeah, where at?
Yeah,
put the link.
Yeah, hey, Robert, you could pull a Pilot Ron and be like, for $49.99.
Yeah. Cha-ching, Robert, you can make some bank, buddy. You can make a percentage.
You'll put your kids through college, Robert.
I give you my 10%. I give you 10%, my friend.
Yeah. That'd be great if you could get a hookup right here tonight, wouldn't it?
I'm telling you, man. Who would have thought?
I know, right?
Yeah.
So, hey, Dustin, let's get us a roll call, man. We got a great group of guys here. We got 60 in the house tonight, man.
Yeah. One second. I'm kind of tied up right now.
Okay.
Literally, what are you doing, man?
Huh?
What kind of stuff you got going on out there, man?
My wife's tying me up.
All right, so look, I'll give it up.
I'm just kidding. I love how it just
Hey.
got like dead nut silence.
I know,
That's
right?
happening, man. You got to turn your microphone down.
That's
Gotta
okay.
turn your
It's
mic
okay.
down, man.
So we got Mr. Pilot Ryan, we got Jermaine Spencer, Mr. George Watts. We got your husband, Tara.
Oh.
We got EQRC, and I knew this guy. I knew Eric. He would say this. He says, "Chris, build him a 3,000 millimeter B-17." And it's funny because we were talking about B-17s before the show.
Yeah.
We got Mr. Mike SS. We got Wreck 'em Roy, Dennis Farley. We got GB Linden. We got Mr. Eric Shadow Ops, Keith Christie. Oh,
Dennis Farley, Jackson RC Aviation, Hangar 51, Keith Christie.
Dave
We
Marshall.
got Frank and now we're going to
Matty
get things.
Booza.
This reminds me of the Monday Night Football when Hank Williams Jr. would go, we'll play some football. We got Frank and Al and Mike and Tommy and Bobby.
Exactly.
We got Victor Shameless.
Yes. Got a good crowd in here tonight, guys. So, hey man, so Chris, so tell us about this new project you're working on, man. And this
Which one?
Sweet.
Which one?
Well, I mean, tell us about it.
I got 757s coming. Here's a wing right here. Here's a wing of a 757 I'm making. It's going to be about 757-200 to be more exact. It's going to be about close to 8 feet long.
Wow.
And this is just, I mean, I can just grab, like, put my hand out and there's a plane. I'm going, I swear to God, I can just like reach and just put my hand on something. I gotta be careful or I'll knock something over. But literally, yes, I got an Emirates 777-9X. Emirates 777-9X, a Lufthansa 777-9X, and my ANA 777-9X for me. I'm keeping it.
Wow. Man.
Nobody selling. I'm not. Nobody can take that from me, unless he's the right price. And
exactly. Yeah.
But I just wanted to say real quick. I want to grab something. I want to show you guys something. A good friend of mine, by the name of Brian Silverman. His channel is RC Phantom Flyer. He's a good friend of mine. Helps me out in the videos. In the last 3 maidens, he's been there, right hand man, helping me out, and he's an artist. And I just got this right here. Let me grab this real quick. You got to see what this guy can create, man.
He said RC Phantom Flyer.
Catastrophe in the shop, because sometimes, man, you just touch something the wrong way, it's over. Let me grab this here. Here we go. This is one of my favorite pieces he did. He did a beautiful BOAC Concorde.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Man, I'm building a BOAC Concorde, and he drew one from hand, man, and that's just, I love people with creative talents, and what I love about what you guys do, Jeff and Dustin, is you showcase people and you bring people on, and that's great, man. You grow the RC community, and that's what it's all about, man. And I'm honored to be here. If I haven't said that, I'm honored and humbled to be here with you guys, and thank you.
Love you being here, my friend. So, real quick, you said your buddy's channel is RC Phantom Flyers?
Yeah, RC Phantom Flyer, and he does a lot of plane spotting. He does a little bit of art. He draws stuff. I'm trying to get him trained to RC. I'm trying to turn him into a pilot. He's got the skill, man. He's got the knack. He's got it. He just needs to. We need to get some time, stick time. And sometimes that's tough, man. Like I went out to the flight field the other day. I get right out, and it starts raining. It's like
we got
like the RC gods saying, "Yeah, you're not flying today, brother."
We got a link we can drop for him, Dustin. I'm trying to pull him up now.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull him up, but I can't find him.
If I was better with the Skype chat, I would be able to. Let me see if I can try to. Man, I'm sorry. I'm embarrassed here.
I've got to show this Norwegian 737 MAX 7 because you pulled a little. I'm assuming this is your wife.
Who? No, those are Those are professional models. Okay.
You should have been like, you should have just been like, yeah, that's my wife. I'm kidding.
If I did that, see, Dave, you guys keep this live you keep it on your channel. So my wife would see this, and she would find it. Eventually, she said, "Oh, who's your wife?" Yeah, you'd never see me again, brother. You'd say, "Yeah, local news, Somerville, man who builds RC airplanes found, with
RC
found in multiple pieces."
Hey, Chris. Hey, look, Chris. Look at the chat real quick. Robert has put a link in there to your phone, man. Your Dupron stuff. Check out that link and jot it down or save it somewhere so you'll have it.
I've got it. I got it. Let's see.
He wants to see.
I appreciate it. Let me see if I can grab that again real quick. Yeah, I got it. Yep. Cool. Man, I haven't done this live Skype. I haven't done something like this in a long time, man. It's been at least 5 years.
Hey, man, we'll have to do it more often, man. I mean, we love people on, man.
Hey, man, I'm honored to. It's weird because I very rarely get the offer. About 5 years ago, there was a guy with a really nice channel. He got in touch with me back when YTube had the you could contact people. You had messaging, and I got back to him, and he never, Wow. I mean, it's all good. I mean, I don't mind. I mean, hey, I'm here with you guys, and that's what counts.
Well, look, last time live show, we had Steve from Killer Planes right here, man. He's awesome guy. We really had a good time with him. Him and his wife Denise. If you're watching, Steve, thank you for being here. I actually got a really nice letter from Steve and his wife for having him on the channel, and they actually sent us some shirts. Hey Dustin, I got you one here, man.
Yeah.
And we got one here, guys. We're going to give away on the channel too. So we just got to decide how and when. But this will be some lucky viewer shirt here. And,
man, I love that P40. I recognize.
That's pretty sick.
His logo, man. His logo is awesome. Love it. But yeah, just the nicest guy. So we love doing this, man. And Steve's been around for a long time, man. He's been reinforcing foam planes for years. And he's awesome at what he does, and his wife, they do it together too, man. Just make a great team. So
hold on.
Yeah, I'm lucky to have mine working with me too, She helps me out a lot. So, don't care about watching me fly a plane, but it's out with everything else.
That's how my wife is, right? So we're on the way back from vacation, and I was driving right by the field. I kind of looked down, I was like, hey, can we stop by the field real quick? And she's like, no. I'm like, come on, like I haven't seen the guys like in months, right? I haven't flown there since Thanksgiving. I was like,
you made one mistake. You said real quick, and your wife knows there ain't no real quick. You stopped by 3 hours later. Your wife takes the car and drives off.
She knew that I had to get home because nature was calling. Diabetes, everybody. So yeah, it had been real quick because my mentor was there. But no, so I'm watching. I'm gonna bring this up real quick. This Norwegian Max 7 that you built has slats. Dude, this is incredible. I'm listening to you guys, but I'm watching this as well.
Yeah, guys, if y'all have
I put it into a table like an idiot.
Sure.
But it looked good doing it. It's funny. I'll tell you a real quick story about that. Had that table not been there, had the clubhouse not been there, had the gate not been there, I was level with the ground now. I could just leveled it out and gone on out. Thank God Almighty, nobody was in the clubhouse at that moment.
Wow.
Because when the plane hits, because it's all styrofoam inside, and it hits something, it's like, boosh! It looks like a confetti celebration. It's like, hey, it's a party time! Because all the white stuff goes on. It looks like some kind. When you're like at the NFL games and the cannons go off, and it's like, boosh! That's what it looked like. It hit that table. And
the artwork on this plane is beautiful. The artwork is beautiful on this plane too, man.
Thank you, man. It's being repaired. That's a good thing. It's being repaired. She has a full new nose. The wing that came off is being repaired. I'll tell you, man, build your planes with carbon fiber. Build them tough because you might fly it into a flight table at 50 miles an hour.
Wow. Gosh. where do you get normally like your retracts and things like that? I mean, do you order them from somewhere, or do you make those, or do you?
No, I wished I made them. E-Flight. I like the E-Flight retracts. Here's some 90-degree.
Okay.
You know, so I use E-Flight. Sometimes I use something from FMS or Free Wing. They make good retracts. I mean, you can get good stuff without breaking the bank. You don't. One of the best things, and you got to understand this, if you want to really make it in RC, scratch building, and even owning RC airplanes, that is, you don't have to find good quality parts and good quality things that are reasonably priced. You know, if you want to go buy $1,000 EDF that does the same job as a $300 EDF, that's up to you. I mean, and I tell that to people, and when you see people get out of the hobby because it's too expensive, it's because they're buying parts and things that are just they're going to the wrong places and they're spending too much money, and when you're on a budget, sometimes that can be tough.
This plane is gorgeous.
Dude, this plane is crazy. I mean, you've got leading edge slats, you've got inner groove slats, you've got working air brakes. The cockpit is lit up.
Yeah.
I mean, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm grateful. Thank you. I'm honored that you feel that way.
What are your hours in build time in this plane, Chris? What do you estimate? What are your hours in build time on this?
A long time, over a year.
Oh, really? Okay.
Over a year.
If somebody wanted a plane like this,
737. I'm sorry, sir.
I would say a plane like this, like what they were watching, right? The 737 MAX 7. What would this run?
Cost-wise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope nobody all right, just officially, ladies and gentlemen, I don't sell this as a Boeing 737 MAX 7. I sell it as a Demon Driver flibbity flobbity floobity. Just between you and me, you know, if any
right. It's kind of like
are listening.
Right. It's like FMS is going through the whole Jeep thing. I don't know if you know, but they made like another brand, and they came out with a Jeep, little RC Jeep, and they shipped it over here, and then Jeep, the company or Fiat, got on them pretty darn quick, so they had to pull back. I mean, they could sell it probably anywhere else in the world, but America, they got on for that.
They will get you. I have horror stories from guys in the hobby that thought they were going to mass produce something made by a company that started with B or an A, and they learned the hard way, oh, no. You're going to pay those companies a percentage, and if you don't, woohoo!
They'll bend you over backwards from Sunday.
They walk into your workshop, and they're like, we're taking this, we're taking that, so you got to be real careful with that. You really do. And some people, when I tell them that, they kind of go, oh, that's great. Come on, what are you talking about? You're just making models.
That whole, it will never happen to me, and then it does, because it's their own stupidity.
Yeah. If it could happen, it would happen to me, I can tell you. So, price-wise, what would this plane cost?
That plane right there, with everything, as is right there, I would say about 1,800 to 2,000 smackaroos.
That's cheap, man, for a beautiful plane. I mean, that's incredibly priced. I'm gonna tell you. When you stop and look at the new HSD T-33 120 millimeter jet, it's foam, it's EDF. That jet sells for about $12.99, and it's mass produced.
Yeah,
this is custom built, and you're talking
custom built. I learned this the hard way. If you price yourself out of the market, you will not sell anything. I'm telling you that right now. Now, there's one thing I've learned. If you make an RC B-1 bomber, an RC B-58, an RC B-24, an RC B-17, an Avro Lancaster, a big RC P-40, an RC A-10, you make a Warbird nobody's got. Guys will pay through the nose to get it. B-52, you make an RC B-52, 12 feet, 13, 14 feet long, man, you just name the price. You say 20, 15 grand. They're like, I'll take it.
I was gonna say, I admit it. You said 15 grand. I'm like,
a rumor has it
there's
rumor has it that you and Dustin are gonna make a B-24 or B-25 together.
we're gonna make we're gonna make a B-52, and the kids, when their little butt heads, the little shit heads go across in the parade, we're gonna drop candy on their asses. That's what we're gonna do.
Wow, that would be cool, man. That would be nice though to build a model like that. But I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, and the new one that you're building, it's for an individual, but it's going to have detailed first class. Tell us what it's going to have inside of it, man. I mean, what you're doing there.
It's dizzying sometimes to just think of it all, and the most irritating thing is just making the seats. I'm starting to get I'm done with it. I see another seat, man. I'm taking a nosedive. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's going to have coach, economy coach, mid-class, which is business sleeper seats, and that's kind of a seat that can recline. It's got a little LCD on it. It's kind of a business class seat, and then up ahead of that are what a lot of these airlines are getting known for are these first class cabins. You get your own cabin, and you go. It's now the price tag on like you go on a Emirates or Etihad or Gulf Air or any of these really high-end airlines. You're talking $20,000-$30,000 trip in that cabin.
Yeah.
So it's going to have all those cabins, the overhead luggage, lighting, bathrooms, sinks. It's going to have all of the little like the areas for food, bar, the wet bar, cockpit, crew fleets, sleep area, so much stuff. Basically a flying travel agency model.
And guys, look, if you haven't subscribed to Chris's channel, do it because you need to follow this journey. I mean, I've been watching this build since he started in his yard, laying out the fuselage pieces, and this was 6-8 months ago when he started on some of these videos, and now he's actually, pushing it down the driveway. Definitely subscribe to his channel and watch his build because now he's getting into building the seats and the different classes in the plane, as he was saying. So just the detail inside of these planes is going to be amazing. Not even including the outside of the plane. Which is going to be fantastic, but just seeing what you do to the inside is just going to be. I can't wait, man. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome.
I'm honored for those kind words, brother.
It's serious, man.
I don't want to start crying. I mean, that's really
look. I paint. Okay, I paint and airbrush. And I can fix a plane if I crash it, man. And that's the job. So I cannot imagine starting from nothing and building these beautiful planes, and then let alone doing the whole interior to look real and scale. Yeah. I mean, dude. Hey, man.
I appreciate that, but like I told you on the phone, the end result is you going out and flying and having a good time. That's what matters. It doesn't matter whether you take an RC airplane out of a box or you build it from your hands or whatever. If you 3D print it, I don't care. You go out to a flight field, have some fun, go flying, enjoy aviation, enjoy RC, and do it politely. Be nice to, just be courteous and treat people the way you want to be treated. That's what it's all about. I don't put what I do above anybody else, man. I just
drop it.
I've already dropped it.
Yeah.
Man,
gotcha.
He's like Waddle Rice over here.
Well, no, we got guys asking because they want to sub to his channel, man. I want to get.
I got it. I got it. Like, it takes a little bit of time, but hey,
Chris.
So I've got the maiden flight of this flibbity flabbity, as you called it. I want to showcase this. So
I want to say one thing. I appreciate that. I want to say one thing. It's Norwegian, the airline, usually puts a Norwegian, famous Norwegian on the tail. And usually it's someone who's passed. I changed that up and chose Liv Ullmann, the Norwegian actress Liv Ullmann, because she's alive. And I'm like, but if I'm in an airliner flying, I want somebody alive on the tail. I don't want some, you know what I'm saying? I want, like, you're flying in an airplane and there's like Long John Silver, or there's like, there's Redbeard. He's been dead for 500 years and sitting on the tail. It's like, no, I want to live in person. But I mean, we all got to go. But I put her on the tail. A lot of people were like, why did you put Liv Ullmann on the tail, man? And I think it would have looked weird if I would have put like, man.
I think it just made it sexy, man. It brought that's a sexy picture on the back of that plane, man.
Thank you, man. Well, I agree with you, man. Liv, Miss Ullmann, that one's for you if you ever hear that. But that's why I did it, and it was a lot of fun. It was something different, and I just love bringing back an airliner that hasn't flown in a long time, or an airline that's gone out of business, or a plane that you don't see anymore in the air. And sadly, with what's going on right now with the current health situation, there's a lot of planes that are being retired. From the MD-80, the MD-88 to 747-400s, 757s, versions of 76, A310s, A300s, they're all going bye-bye.
Wow.
There's gonna be a time you're gonna go to an airport and kids growing up never know what a DC-10 is, never know what an L-1011 is, never know what a 727 is, and to me that's painful. That hurts.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to live in a world where a kid doesn't know what a B-17 is or a P-40 Warhawk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No. You're gonna know what a P-38 Lightning is. Like, you got. I want young generations to know the great planes that have come, in the past and that, that did exist.
Yeah. This plane here, this video is awesome. It's a beautiful.
I wanted to say something about this. A lot of people get on me. They say, "Hey, why don't you do the aerial dog chase videos, man? Why don't you do the right there on the you're right there following the plane? Why don't you do that, man?" And I'm like, you know why? Because my luck, I'm a midair. No, that would happen. I swear to God, if I did that and I had a close. Now I have a quadcopter doing stationary, taking film.
Yeah.
That's all I do. My luck, if I have a quadcopter following the plane, I'll make a turn, slow down slightly, boom. Done.
That's where you need to get Simon from Northeast FPV, man.
That's the dude. I wanted to talk about that guy. I watched that. I saw that. It's funny. Simon, he is amazing, that guy. And
yes, he is.
Thank you for having him on there. But he has that British accent that you can't quite, is he from Scotland? Is he from Wales?
Right,
He's got that kind of dark accent. It's kind of like, it's like you think he's from South Africa or something. You hear him talking, I'm like, wait a minute, where is he? What part of the UK is he from?
Yeah.
Wow. But he is amazing. That's a great channel, man.
He puts
those aerial videos.
Yes. Yeah, his chase footage is incredible, man. He's an amazing pilot. That's for sure.
Yeah, if I pay for, if he can stay here, I'll pay for his airline ticket. He can come out and do some aerial. And if we had a midair.
Yes. And he's super humble too.
I'd take one of his fingers.
Yeah.
One finger.
Yeah, he's super nice guy, man. He is so kind. And we really enjoyed him. But guys, I hope you're watching this video, because watching this plane fly is it's just a work of art. I mean,
that head cam view is from Brian, the RC Phantom Flyer. That's his head cam. He was out there getting footage, and I'll tell you, man, some of the best footage that I get in these latest maidens are from him. I'm gonna have a A300 Lufthansa flying soon, and he'll be out there hopefully getting footage.
Wow.
When the big 777s go down the runway, he'll be out there too, I hope.
Show the guys the EDF you were showing me earlier, that big EDF you had, and tell them about that.
I got boxes and boxes, literally. If I brought you over to that, over there, it's a wall. I mean, I just got boxes and boxes.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got maybe about 10 of these units, 10 of these.
Hey, Dave, put those in one of your planes, man.
This is the Change Sun unit. The good thing I've talked about this unit before. It's like $300, and you get good performance out of it. They're good EDFs. A lot of people.
What size is that one, Chris? What size is that?
This is a 120 millimeter.
Wow, man, gosh, is that an in runner, out runner?
It is basically, that's basically a 600 or greater size helicopter motor. That's really what that is.
Wow. Okay.
That's really what that is.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
Wow.
I bet
it sounds good. I bet it sounds good too.
Yeah, they sound good. But you know what's so funny? I showed you that EDF. Let me show you a blast from the past, man. This might be one of the earliest EDF units from the past. This is the old E-Flight 63 millimeter.
Wow.
From the E-Flight Super Airliner back in the day.
Man.
That was way before my time.
This is from about 2006.
Hey,
these things used to fly. I don't know if you ever heard that guy Neff Waffa, but he used to do RC airliners. When he first started flying his RC airliners, he used these. And when these things are running, they have they sound like a vacuum cleaner. They have it literally sounds like a vacuum cleaner flying around over your head. And these were some of the first. So we've gone from this to these here's an 80 millimeter to these multi-fan monsters.
Wow.
In the last, engines, they're like actually looking like scale turbine engines. So we've gone from 3-blade to sometimes, in some cases, 18 blades.
Good gosh.
So it's amazing growth. I can only imagine what's going to be coming 10 years from now.
Man, 18 blades. I've never seen nothing that.
Yeah, there's some guys turning out some 18 blade units, man.
God, don't tell Gooniac. he'll be wanting to put one of them in a jet.
It's funny. I was just talking about Jeff and Dustin, and I just wanted to say, when I took a look at your flight club screenshot, and I saw that, I took a look at it, I said, man, these guys look mean. These guys look like they're going to beat that. Like, I'm going to come on the show. They're like, all right, I'm going to take this guy down. Everybody tear him apart. Like, this guy, we got Demon Driver. Let him have it, boys.
Hey, so Chris, can you show those EDFs again? My software is showing that it had switched over, but apparently not. But so the guys didn't get to see the EDFs.
The old ones?
Yeah, show the 120.
Show the 120s.
Okay. This is what's going in the 777s. Now, I gave the guy in Abu Dhabi, I said, hey, we can do the Schublers. We can do the Schublers if you want them, but they're over $1,000.
What?
Wow.
And the guy's got tons of money.
Right.
I said, you can buy them. He said, no. He told me to use the Change Suns.
Wow.
Because he flies RC, and he says, I've used these. They're great. They're wonderful. And I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure? So I've tested these now, and I've stuck these on a test bed and stuff like that, and these are solid. There's videos on YouTube of people running these in large jets, in 8-9 foot jets, and they're really, I mean, for the money, these are pretty good. Fanjet RC in Europe makes a good unit. JP Hobbies makes a great 120 millimeter unit. That's about another $200. It's a dark reddish maroon, all metallic, all aluminum. Mm-hmm. The only scary thing about that EDF is if, God forbid, one of those blades pops off, you got like a metal missile going at 60,000 RPM, God knows where. So watch out with that.
So how much? What's the what? Well, there's a lot of questions. I'm trying to sort what question I want to ask first. So typically, are you doing this like in 12S, 6S, or are you using like a 6S battery but using a lot of milliamps? Or I mean, how are these batteries configured at for the most part?
Well,
an ESC side.
I love simplicity. And simplicity in RC for me, it just means more reliability and lighter weight. So 8-cell at 4,000 to 5,000 milliamps, 8-cell and up, and sometimes in series, maybe 4-cell. So you get up into the 30 to the 28 to 36 volt range. But the good thing about building light is you don't need all that power. Sometimes these guys build a little too heavy, and then you need to overpower the plane to get it in the air. And I've learned that the hard way, man. I got an old, right down there on the floor here, I'm repainting it. That's the old 767-200 from about 10 years ago, 9 years ago, 10 years. And I'm doing it as the Spirit of Delta. But I'm in many ways revamping the plane and bringing it up to a newer standard. And the funny thing is that plane, if I made it now, would be 1 pound lighter at least. So instead of being 8.5 pounds in the air, it'd be 7.5 pounds. So
wow,
you got to keep that battle of making your planes lighter. And if you keep doing that, and the other thing is in scratch building, you got to keep learning.
Yeah,
you gotta
absolutely.
keep learning. You can never say, "I figured it all out. I figured it all out. I know. I don't have to learn nothing. Don't tell me nothing."
Right.
Once you get to that point, you're done. So you gotta be modest and you gotta be humble, but you gotta keep learning. You gotta keep learning.
Look, if somebody throughout their, if somebody has not learned at least something, regardless of how minute it may be, in one day, you should be you're sleeping. You're a walking zombie. And that's just my opinion in this.
It's patience. It's patience. You can't.
And it's not something just about I was gonna say it's just it can be anything in general, like not just something that's specific to for me like machining or you for building these gorgeous planes. It can be like anything, and it's funny because I always tend to remember the either the silliest, the most simplest, or just the most, dare I say, the convoluted knowledge. I know all this weird knowledge that really doesn't help me at all. It has in the past, but for the most part, my wife's like, "Why do you remember that?" I was like, I have no idea.
But if there's that day and you got to give go for CPR, you're on it, man. You got it.
Yeah. Or it's
you learn that knowledge.
Yeah, or it's that day I'd be on the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and be like, what was the color of George Patton's sidearm, right?
Pearl.
It was white ivory. Is what it was. Yeah, it was white ivory.
So what radio do you like to fly?
What radio? I have my old trusty, old faithful, and that is my Futaba 7P. But it's an old fast system 2.4, and I'm begrudgingly getting into newer Futaba radios. And right off the bat, you guys know I must be an imbecile running Futaba. Oh, he's a Futaba guy?
No.
Why don't we have this guy on? Dustin, come on, what's going on here?
I mean, my thing would be look, time out for a second.
I know, look,
we're talking about you can compare radios to cars. Some people are like rice birders, Hondas. Some people are like crowd demolishers, Mustangs. Some people are like catfish, we call them Camaros. And then some people like trucks. That's cool. But then some people, and I don't care what you are, you like it, it works for you, power to you. The only problem I have when it comes to cars is when you got these guys with these slammed, we call them Carolina squatters. And being in South Carolina, you've probably seen them where the ass in the truck is basically touching the tires because mom and daddy only bought half their lift kit.
and it's burning. They're just grinding rubber.
Oh,
boom, boom. And then when they try to pull in anywhere, you just see scraping and scratching. It's
we've got guys in our field, that fly big turbines, and I mean they love the Futaba radios. They love the Tyrannus radios. I fly Spectrum myself, but hey, Tyrannus, he's one of our friends, man. He's a great pilot, and Tyrannus is his radio of choice.
That's the FR Sky, the Tyrannus. Yeah, man. The Fly Sky or FR Sky. Those are some good radios, and the prices are good.
Well, he just got a brand new one made by them, and he went with that one again instead of going with Spectrum. So, but he really likes it. And so I'm not say radio biased by any means. It's what I started with Spectrum, and that's just what I've stuck with. So
Spectrum's a good radio. Spectrum's a good radio. The only thing I've never liked about Spectrum is that their stick control is very light.
Right.
The actual tolerance on the actual knob is too light for me. It doesn't I'm old school. That's a set. I learned on old JRs and Airtronics, and then went to Futaba, and the actual spring tolerance is a lot stiffer. So
Right.
it just feels like you're just, I don't know, man. It's a weird, like it feels like you're getting feedback from the plane when you're not. The other
Right.
thing is, you guys talked about like safeguards, like gyros and things like that.
Yeah.
Not one of these RC airliners have a gyro or safe mode. Not one. When I fly them, they got nothing. It's just me, the radio, the receiver. There's nothing. And the main reason is I just don't want to, unless a customer asks for one, and then you get a gyro. But mainly, I mean, it's just I just don't want all that extra weight in the airplane. When I've made an airplane, I put just enough of the battery in there to have a light plane on that maiden. You don't want a heavy plane on the maiden, man. I mean, I could go off and talk about, and me also, it's nerves. A lot of guys on the maiden flight, they like to have a long flight, and they like to just like, hit a home run and hit a grand slam, and they're doing everything, low passes and all this stuff. And I've noticed that the longer a maiden flight is, the greater your chances are for what. So with me, I take off. I want to make sure the plane is controllable, stable in the air, flies well, has good aerodynamic and handling qualities. Bring it around, and then when my nerves are done and I feel like if I don't land, I'm going to have a coronary, then I just bring it in because my nerves get shot and I'm done. And I just land it. And, sometimes I could probably go around for another pass, but I just noticed that if you stay in the air too long on a maiden with some of these planes, you get burned. You really see, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. And it's all about
confident a lot of times.
Yeah, man, you got to watch. You gotta watch ego. RC and ego are a dangerous combination, boy. You get a big head. It's like, it's I mean, like anything in life, man. You gotta just learn from your mistakes and know when you made a mistake and say to yourself, yeah, I screwed that up and I goofed that up and I can't do that again. And that's why sometimes on my maiden flights I'm not doing a 6-7 maiden flight. I just get the plane in the air, put the gears up, fly it around, make sure she's stable, put it on the ground.
Well, now with the planes, with the planes the size of the ones that you have or the ones that you're building now, what are your typical flight times out of your planes?
Well, like with the L1011 sitting over there, I got the ANA L1011. I'll try to move the camera so you guys can see that sitting over there. If you kind of see it, I got the light here. Let me move that around. Right there is the ANA L1011. And I can, normally when I'm flying it on a short flight, I go with 1800 milliamp 6Ls. But I could stick a 2600 milliamp in that plane and probably get, depending on throttle control and throttle management, 5-6 minute flight.
Wow.
5-6 minute flight. And it's all about, get up to a good altitude, and get your gears up, get the plane clean, get your flaps out, get your flaps up, get a clean bird, and just cruise around. You don't have to gun it. Sometimes I do that on maidens. I'm just so scared of tip stalling. Yeah. Because like that 737-300 Siam Air, it's a 737-300, man. So you got pretty much a long fuselage and these short little stubby wings. And I'm sitting there when I maiden it out there at Camden, and I got my buddy Brian out there with me. I go to full throttle. I'm like, there's no way this thing's getting in the air. This thing ain't getting in the air. I'm gonna go down the runway, and I'll be down at the end of the runway, and I might get her airborne. Might rotate. She was in the air 1/3 down the runway, and just was like a homesick angel. And sometimes the planes that you don't think are gonna fly well fly great, and the planes that you think are gonna just be perfect, those are the ones that give you trouble. So you got to be careful. And the end of the game, and I keep saying this over and over again, you got to build them as light as you can. You got to, if you can get a pound out of them, that's maybe another minute you can keep the plane in the air. And that's the lighter airplane lands lighter.
Yeah.
So you got to
with the planes and the EDFs and everything that you're using. I mean, what do you have a battery preference as to what gives you better flight time, better weight? What are your batteries?
I will show you, and I'm embarrassed that I don't have it sitting right here with me right now, like where I can just grab it right back over here. Let me get it for you. It's a company that is right here in the United States, and It's called Max Amps. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
I know.
Max Amps. If you like, I mean, even the battery looks like a hot rod, but it's a company called Max Amps.
Awesome.
And they make these like right here. This is a 6-cell, 2250 milliamp 6-cell. Right. This battery right here alone was about $100. They're a fortune, but they give you tremendous power. And it's got proven 100C like all the time. 100C.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive because most people, you know, you hear so many discrepancies on C rating.
Yeah, these things, I swear to God, if I could, you know, win the lottery or something, I mean, I got these, and man, I'll tell you, I was lucky to get some of these. These are great batteries. If somebody can make something like this for about half the price,
yeah,
you got the holy grail. But these, the one downside to this company, Max Amps, is the cost. They are a fortune. But I'm telling you right now, if you got an RC fighter jet, or you know something like your Horizon SU-30 behind you, you change it out with with one of these Max Amps at 100C, you're gonna see a difference. I'm telling
That's
you
awesome,
right now.
man.
It can take a dead plane. It can take a plane that just kind of skirts a stall all the time, and you can get some good performance. But they didn't pay me to say that. I'm just telling you just from my experience.
Well, I've never heard of them, so I think that's pretty impressive. I mean, I'm definitely going to try to look at the link on that. Dustin might be able to pull something up on it, but I mean, that's pretty impressive. I mean, you know, the smart packs by Spectrum are pretty awesome packs as well, up to 60C. But you know, again, you typically you're topping out around 60C, and you know you're hoping to get that. But a lot of people, you know, will also speculate that the higher C rating you have, the more weight a pack tends to take on versus a lower C rating pack.
Well, that's where these guys have also have the advantage. You got what is it? Thunder Power. They are probably very close. You got Gen's Ace, but these guys at 100C, it's still. I mean, I don't have a scale on me, but this is a pretty light 6-cell. Now, of course, it's only 2200 milliamp.
Right.
But it's. I mean, this is not bad. This is not bad. But again, like batteries are kind of like what baseball bat you like to use, or what brand of shotgun you like. You know.
Right.
You like Bernelli or do you like Remington? You know, it's so. But I do like these because sometimes they can take a flying toaster, like my L1011 over there. It's a flying toaster, and this thing could get some good. It can turn it into a fast flying toaster.
Wow. That's good to know, man. Really good to know. Definitely some Max Amps, right? Is that what you said it was?
Yeah, Max Amps. Yep. I'm sorry. Yeah, Max Amps. Basically one word. MAX, capital AMPS.
And they've got a lifetime warranty.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, that's another thing. I blew some batteries running them through the Siam Air. Basically about the same size. I blew them. They puffed up, and they were unusable. I couldn't balance them. Sent them right back up to Seattle. Gave me 6 new batteries. I was like, "What? You're gonna do that? You're gonna replace them?" And they did, and I was stunned. I've gone to like Gen's Ace and Thunder Power and other companies after a battery puffs out or something, and they're like, "What'd you do with it? What did you run it in?
Yeah.
How many amps were you running it on?
Yeah.
You put it in that? Well, you're blank out of luck, pal."
Well,
that's $80 out the window.
Yeah. Man.
That was kind of like Motion. I saw where a guy had a Bayhawk, and his rotor came off the shaft of his Bayhawk. This is a Freewing bird. And Motion said, "Yeah, you didn't do your pre-flight check." But I'm like sitting there thinking, I have never seen anybody reach their hand up through the acid of their plane and feel that little blade, right?
Giving a rectal exam to a T-45, basically.
Yeah.
Let me stick my hand up in here, and let's hope it's not running or on. You know, let me just get in there and see.
Throttle cut.
Oh
I
my
kind
God!
of went through the same thing with them. I had the ground on or the negative on the ESC lead going into the receiver was the terminal was put in backwards, right? So it never locked. And those are my Corsair. Were short stories. I was flying. All of a sudden, like it just went dead. And they're like, "Oh well, you didn't check it." Rah rah rah. And I'm like, I can kind of understand that to an extent, but like this guy with the rotor, oh come on. Like I like motion, I love motion, but some of the not all, some of the customer reps, man, they better hope that they dare I say, they better hope that they are not in a dark alley with some disgruntled customers at the other end.
You don't want Mr. Dustin coming after you, but
oh no, that ain't me.
Get on top of that. You don't want to be walking through Charlotte. What part of North Carolina are you guys in? Or
I'm in Raleigh.
Yeah, and I'm around Greenville. You said you've actually been to our field before.
Yeah, about 5 years ago. I'm pretty sure it was Space Cowboy RC. I was going through, and I was heading up north to see my mom, and God rest her soul, I was going up there, and I stopped in. There was a little RC show going on, and I went in there. I didn't fly anything, but I was hanging around and talking to people and watching, and just this big, long, like a channel, just this beautiful grass and just beautiful place. I mean, you're blessed, man. That's a nice field. Man.
Yeah, we've got a beautiful field, and you saw in the video yesterday it had just been cut. I mean,
yeah, you trained the guy with the E-Flight F-16.
Yeah.
You're a great teacher, I might add.
Hey, thank you, man.
I just the right attitude. You're calm and cool, and you're not getting on the guy. You're just telling him what he needs to know.
Well, Brian's a good pilot, man, and he's grown really quickly. He started out just a few months back teaching himself on the Carbon Cub, and he's already into jets, and he's moving forward quickly, man, and I'm very proud of him. So yeah, he's anxious, but aren't we all? You know what I mean? So
you know, he's Carbon Cub, F-16.
Yeah.
2 years he'll be doing the USS.
He'll be showing me how to fly for long. Exactly.
7.
That's right. So like, okay, if you're flying these big jets, we know your batteries. What do you have an ESC of preference?
All right, ESCs. That's a funny thing, man. ESCs, Castle Creation, if you can afford it, are great. Castle Creations. I'm trying to keep my brain working here. I'm trying to get a little oil in the brain.
Yeah.
Who is the? Oh God, what's the company? This is embarrassing. Sometimes you forget a company's name. Scorpion makes a good ESC. I should just probably go grab one, and I don't know exactly what brand it is. Turnigy, that's the one. Turnigy. Turnigy has a number. If you can find them. See, here's another thing going down, and we could start a whole. We could have Raiders of the Lost ESC. One of the things happening out there is like you go on to a company that you like, that you know, an RC hobby shop online, and you go, hey man, I need this 120 amp ESC. Oh, we're out of them.
Yeah,
we're out of them. We're not gonna have them for another half a year, and it becomes like the search for the Holy Grail. Like you're trying to find this one ESC, because sometimes like with the Convair 880 and the Convair 990, it needs 4. So I need to find 4 of them, and sometimes I'll find 3, and I'm like, no, I need 4. It's like, well, if you come back in 2 months, we might have an extra one. And it starts like this whole thing of trying to find, like, you chasing down parts. But I like Turnigy. They make a good ESC. Mm-hmm. Hobby Wing used to make a good ESC.
Wait, so you say used to? Do they not now? Hobby Wing?
I think Hobby Wing I haven't heard from in a long time. There's Free Wing. There's Mystery. Right. There's E-Flight. E-Flight makes a good ESC.
Well, Free Wing's ESC are Hobby Wing. They're just rebranded, I think, or it's Turnigy, or it's one of the two. And it's like E-Flight. E-Flight don't make a damn thing, right?
That's right.
That's all rebranded.
A lot of this stuff, man. It's like you know, back in the day, man. You had the Chevy Cavalier became the Cadillac Cimarron.
Right.
It's like,
right,
dude. So a lot of these ESCs, man, you're buying that name. Now, Castle Creation, in many ways, they do stand behind their ESCs, but they're a fortune, man. You're talking 300, 400. Wow. And there's some of those like designer ESCs from Europe, man. You're talking 500, 600.
Those guys are nuts. They had like a 19 or 20 foot B-17, and like the guy had like this whole big like harness on. I mean, it was just like this huge like radio that was probably like, I mean, it was huge on this like platform, and like he got in the air. As soon as he got like stable, like one of the engines gave out. Luckily, he's got 3 more, and he landed it. And like, I mean, I'm just sitting there like thinking like, how many dollar signs? How long did it take? But that's part of the hobby. You put all this energy into it, and it's like when you get done, that you're like, it's like building a car. When you crank up the motor, regardless of what you're doing to the car, whether it's like a full retro mod or whatnot, when you crank the motor, they're basically saying you're halfway there. And when you crank the motor up on that, or power on the ESC or the motors on the plane, you're halfway there, because the next step is fly it, just like a car. The next step, take it on the road, test it out, see what needs tweaking. And it's that, it's like taking that final step. You know, it's like in those movies where people are like, can I fly? And of course they go over the edge, and like you see them fall, and then they come up and they're like, oh yeah, this is fun, right? And it's that type of thing where it's either like put up or shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's sometimes really what it is. You got those guys that are too scared to maiden, and they're too scared to push that throttle forward. And it's like, you never want to know. You never want to know if that plane is going to fly. I mean, you spent that money, you took the time, go fly it. You know, try it. Let's see what happens. And sometimes that's tough to make that, to say that to someone. It's like, well, it's easier for you. You know, you go. I mean, I spent 5 years flying that plane. There's a sad video of a guy scratch built a B-24 for maybe 10 years, and it didn't make it. He was an elderly gentleman. That was painful, man. I was like, oh boy. But that's the hobby, man. I mean, that's, you know, it's like, you know, you're working on an old 56 Chevy or something like that, or just some, you know, an old T-Bird, man, and you've been working 4 or 5 years, and it comes out of the garage, man, and it's just rumbling. You take it out on the road, and something goes wrong, and some lady opens the door on it or something at a Sonic or something like that. That's like anything in life, man. That's
that actually happened. So down here in the South, we have this thing called Mule Days, and I'll never forget Mule Days. Mule.
We're one state below you. I mean, North Carolina is a long state, south to north.
And y'all just fence, like, Charleston is kind of like, it's like the Florida of South Carolina.
Like New Orleans of South Carolina, man.
Yeah.
Well, you got Charleston, and then you got Beaufort, and then a little bit north you got Myrtle Beach. So there's a lot of people having a good time in their gray years here in this state. You see a lot of people having a good time.
Well, kind of a sidetrack, guys. So I'm 32, and if you ever grew up like on like Nickelodeon as a kid, there was this TV show called Gullah Gullah Island. They had like this man in a frog suit that jumped around, and anywho, Gullah Gullah Island was actually about the people of Gullah, which is in the Charleston area, south of Charleston. And if you ever go there, they're the ones that they'll take the palmetto leaves and like weave baskets, like beautiful stuff out of it. But it was about them. I was like, huh. Something I learned today. That is a random fact.
Well, we've got, Chris, look, Dustin and I have got to get you down here to fly with us, man. And you know the field. You know what we got. We got to get you down here with a big airliner at some point, man, and fly for us.
Yeah,
man.
You know it. I might bring the Siam Air. I might bring the L-1011. Depending on what's done when I come down. Maybe the JL 880 up there.
Yeah.
I tell you right now, that's gonna be a flying nightmare. I can already tell, man. Oh God, I almost get nauseous thinking about it. About maiden in that thing.
I can't imagine. I take stuff out of a box, and I'm scared to death to maiden it. So I can't imagine after you put your blood, sweat, and tears, and time, and just all this effort into something to maiden it. I mean, God, it's one thing to be able to write a check or pay for something. It's another thing to put your time and effort into it, man. Just when I just custom paint a plane, it takes it to another level for me. You know, I mean, it's one thing to take it out of the box as it is and fly it and crash it. It's another thing to spend hours custom painting one, let alone building like you're doing. I can't imagine.
I'm looking right now, speaking of your handiwork, I'm looking at your Mustang up there, and I love the aging work that you did on it. I can see just kind of.
That's my Spitfire. That's my
your Spitfire up there. That is beautiful. Supermarine Spitfire. You got all the little, you got the kind of after the guns are fired, you got some dirt in there, and you make it look weathered. That is some nice work, brother.
Yeah, that's a sweet plane, man. That's the flight line, and we watch a channel, if you haven't seen, it's Mary Boozer's RC, and they do the riveting, what they call Papa Dotting, because he started that, and that whole plane is riveted on every panel line and everywhere, which really brings out the detail in it as well. And then it's got the invasion stripes painted on it and airbrushed and things like that. So, but my F-16 Arctic Camo is my pride and joy now. That's on my YouTube channel. If you haven't seen that, we need to check that out.
Yeah, the black and the white
scheme
on it, man. That you know what's so beautiful about that? That plane's got to be easy to see. When you got that in the air, I'm sure that's a lot easier to see than some of these planes, man.
Oh yeah, well, like the F4 I've got up there, it's the Vietnam camo, the green, man, and that plane will cloak on you. You can take it on a nice day, and when it makes a certain turn, it almost like disappears, a silhouette. You know, you can't hardly tell orientation with that plane, man.
Yep. Yeah, you get a camouflage plane that's green. You got tree line, right? You're coming in for a landing, and you just pass below the tree line.
Yeah,
plane's gone. What happened? Whoa, hey.
Exactly, that's right.
I've seen more, man. I'll tell you, I love that MiG-17 Fresco you've got.
Oh man, that's a sweet one, bud. Yeah, that's a great fun plane,
man. That's what I'm talking about. That's some. Woo.
And like I said, the afterburners that we get from Guniac and put on these things are amazing, man. He does a great job with these light burners, and basically they plug and play, plug right into your balance lead on your pack, and work off your throttle. They're amazing, and they light up the whole rear end of that plane. He's calling them fiery booties. So
I like that.
Yeah.
I want to tell you. I want to tell you, Jeff. I love your background, man. You got the SU-30. You got your A-10. You got the Warthog. You got the AL-37. Yeah. You got, I could see Air Force One. You got Marine One right there.
Yep.
That's nice. I like that setup.
These are actually real pictures of Air Force One and Marine One. A friend of mine, he died. He was a Ranger, and he actually flew both of those or was on them, and those were in his collection. And so I got them after he passed. So
God bless him, man. God bless him.
Dustin, he's got normally his big collection behind him. He's not at his hangar tonight where he normally has all of his planes.
Yeah, man. It's funny. Sometimes you see these guys, sometimes when they're doing these shows. Depending on what they're doing, they might have like a Maserati behind them, or they'll have like a waterfall or something. It's like it's just like, or like a cheetah jumping through the thing, or something. I don't know, but I like your background, man. That is cool. That is cool.
Yeah, man. Well, that's like and two, like I was telling you earlier, check out the plates that Dustin's making. If you ever need anything fabricated, for a plane, aluminum, he does awesome work with aluminum. Fabrication, machine shop type stuff, anything like that for plates or whatever, like he's done for the F-14 that he and Rich Baker have worked on together. Balsa trays, for battery trays or anything. That might, my ears just went whoop. That sounds very enticing.
Yeah, a lot of what I do is CAD design, CAD modeling, prototype. I do some production work. It's not my niche and butter, so to speak. My niche is doing the prototype work, one-offs, like say up to like 10. But I mean, I've done production up to like 2,500 pieces. I kind of don't like it because I've really only got like one production machine, and I don't like tying it up because it's a lot of work getting it set up and having to babysit the machine to do like that type of number. But hey, sky's the limit. I do what I can, and
Hey, you do what? Let me tell you something, man. You and Jeff have the keys to the kingdom. You do what you love. You do what you enjoy, and that's what it's all about, man. It's if you can get to a point in life where you're doing what you love, you're there.
Right.
There.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah,
Dustin,
man,
let's let Chris get out of here. We've kept him for an hour and a half tonight. And,
hey, man, I'm honored, man. You're not keeping me at all, brother. Trust me.
Hey, man.
Listen, man, it's not every day I get to be on a great channel like this, Jeff Custom RC, and with the great Dustin, the great Jeff. It doesn't happen every day, so I'm honored. I am honored and humbled, and I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for the opportunity.
Well, look, and we want to stay with you in this journey of this airplane, man, and definitely, the further along you get in it, check in with you, have you on again, and just follow your series on YouTube and just have you back on talking about it and showing it to us, man, because I'm enthralled. I want to see more. I'm ready for another video. So
I'm honored. I just want to say, don't forget me when you got 100,000 or 500,000 subscribers. Don't forget me, brother.
No, man,
no,
never,
not at
man,
all.
Never. And check out, guys, Raven Rock Machine and Aviation. That's Dustin's channel. And be sure you sub to him if you're in here tonight and you haven't. And again, RC Demon Driver. Check his channel out, guys. Sub to him and hit that notification bell so you see when he's coming out with new stuff and dropping new videos with this new project and any new project that he's working on. And thanks to everyone for coming in tonight and being with us and enjoying the show. So, Dustin, with that, man, take us out, and we'll let this man get back to his wife and his family.
Yeah, guys, so appreciate you guys all hanging out with us tonight. As always, again, apologize for the technical difficulties. It seems like it happens 1 out of 4 times-ish, but yeah, thanks for bearing with us. So, quick rundown. Let's see if I can get it this time, because last time, I don't know, I was like dyslexic, I was having a stroke, I don't know what was going on with me. So as you know, it's Tuesday, so Monday we were with the Air Marshal RC, and then we were also with Guniac. Then you have us, Flight Club, Tuesday nights always at 8:30ish. I say that. And then
thanks for going easy on me. Thanks for not roughing me up.
Yeah, right.
No, it's all good. It's all good, my friend. And then on Wednesdays, we have GB Linden as a Wednesday hump day. Ethan RC, hopefully he is back. I saw him in the chat. Hopefully he's back from Florida now.
Is that EP Productions, Ethan RC?
Ethan RC, yeah. He's, I think he's 16 years old.
Yeah.
So
I think I know who you're talking about. Does he also build RC airliners? I think. Or EP Productions. I'm probably getting somebody confused here.
I don't think he does.
Yeah, I think Ethan's just kind of getting started, and I think his dad flies a lot down in Florida, doesn't he?
No, well, his dad flies in what? Wait, does his dad fly in Goldsboro? I thought his dad flies in Goldsboro, and his mom was in Florida, or vice versa. The parents are somewhere in there. We're getting them mixed up, but he stays up here in North Carolina. He's in between me and Jeff and I. Yeah, he's a young lad. So please support him because he is the future of RC. Him and Channel 6,
Amen.
His good buddy.
Amen.
And then so on Thursdays we have Kenny bring your keg because it's an all-nighter. It's fun. That's Hangar 51. Then on Fridays we have this guy called Mr. Dave RC. He
just hit 1,000 subs, by the way.
Oh yeah, correct. Oh, and Dave Marshall too. Both Daves. Yeah. Congratulations. Yeah,
right.
True story. Right when they hit 999, I unsubscribed. I'm just kidding. I can be an asshole, but I'm not that big of an asshole. So yeah, congratulations to both of them. And then and so on Friday we have Dave RC. Then of course we have the OG himself, Mr. Snoop Dogg, Pilot Ryan. And then Sunday we have Mary Boozer with his Mohawk, Wesley and Papa Boozer and Lori, the whole family.
Man, you guys are busy. How do you keep track?
Hey, man.
Dude,
Man,
I've been doing this for 13 times, and I still can't get it right.
Hey, these are all great channels, Chris, and check them all out, man. We just have a good time. If you're working on a plane, a lot of times guys just turn stuff on, listen, kind of chime in if you got a minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's just fun a lot of times to listen, especially if you're doing a build in the garage or whatever, and just some good entertainment, man. So.
Well, I'm gonna say this right now. If guys listen, if you're not subscribed to Jeff Customs RC, to this channel, you're doing something wrong. So subscribe to this man's channel.
Man,
you do not want to miss this great RC content, flight videos, previews, just great stuff. You want to subscribe to this man's channel. You don't want to be the last to do that. So don't have the demon coming after. Don't make me go demon
over here now. We got to drop it on Dustin too, because we are on his channel every other Tuesday.
Oh, that's right. I thought you guys it was a joint product, but yeah, Dustin too. His channel. Subscribe to Mr. Dustin as well.
Yeah, he's Raven Rock Machine and Aviation.
Raven Rock Machine and Aviation.
Yes.
Okay. I did not know that. I apologize.
No, it's all good. It's funny. A lot of people here, as of late, don't know about that. That each week we kind of. We have it on each other's channels and switch each week.
Man, I apologize for my ignorance. I'm sorry about that, man.
No, you didn't.
You meet me in person. When you meet me in person, you can give me a manly smack across the face.
I'll just tell your wife that one of the models you said were your wife. I wouldn't do that.
You know how to get to me. You know how to get me in trouble. All right.
I'm not going to send my fellow men to the firing
squad. Sign off. Do not bring wife when I go to North Carolina. Okay.
Man. All right, guys. Well, hey, great show tonight. Thank you so much again, man, for coming.
My pleasure.
It's been a thrill and a pleasure to have you. I could listen to you talk and watch you work all night, man. Thank you, and Dustin, thank you for producing the show tonight from the studios there, man. Thanks to my
hard
wife.
Work, Dustin.
Yeah, thanks to my wife Tara for getting the premiere put together for us to put out there, and all the work she does on the channel as well. So without that, guys, Dustin, you want to take us out, man?
Awesome, guys. Well, appreciate you guys again tuning in, ladies as well. If you're in here, Tara still. You guys have a great, blessed week.
Stay safe.
Stay safe. Yep. Be smart, and don't do nothing stupid. That's part of being smart. But everyone have a great week. Catch you next week here on Flight Club.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sweet. We are off.